Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Oxygen Not Included. I have done a few things that I wanted to show off around our base, and we're going to do a little more exploration in our space environment today. So, first of all, is that our carbon dioxide actually got down below the point where we can start pumping more carbon dioxide in here because it's under 20 kilograms per tile. So, I disconnected this pump. I'm going to quick connect this pipe up so I can vent that out, and I'm just going to turn this pipe off. Send a green signal above. Shut it off. Okay, so okay, so we cut off the filter on the top, so we're not pumping gas out anymore, and we just use the same pipe that we were running carbon dioxide down to storage, and rerouted it so that it goes back up. And we're slowly pumping out all the carbon dioxide that we have stored in here back into the power sauna so that we can have it all converted into polluted water by our into oil by our slicksters, just to use it all up. Once we finish with that, we'll see how much. We'll do the math and figure out exactly how many slicksters we need for the amount of carbon dioxide we're producing, and get our population back where it needs to be. The other thing that we worked on was I added in some new cooling systems over here that I'm playing around with, trying to get this water to be cooled when it goes into our base. I have This is what's currently going on. I have a tank of water here where the water is coming out from our boiler. It's dropping off into this tank, and then it's getting pumped in to go through uh, an aqua tuner, which lowers its temperature and gets dumped back in, trying to even out the temperature in this tank. And then when it gets below 25 degrees, it gets sent out. It's working okay. It's not keeping up. So the second part I did is I built this cooling system, which is a copy of the one that we built over on Gorgani. And then I have a pipe of oil coming over here, running through our water, cooling it off. It's not really working like I thought it would. So I think what I need to do is just looking to figure out exactly how to get it to do what I want it to do better, because it's just not keeping up with it. It could also just be the fact that this water's coming in to this tank at let's see, it's coming in from here, almost 90 degrees. So it just might be too much cooling that it needs to do. We may need to do something more drastic to get it cooled down, or uh, just make this tank bigger so that it can cool off over a longer period of time. But in the process, we're still cooling down the rest of the map. Uh, I would need to get in here and get this cooling solution set up to work properly, so that it goes through. Right now, I have cooling turned off in the base. I was working on getting things changed around. I need to fix that actually. Uh, I'll work on that in just a minute. Um, on the Gorgani side of the map, I dug out a section up here at the top near the edge of space, put in an airlock so that we can have duplicates getting up here. And I'm working on putting in an enclosed telescope over here. Or I did put in an enclosed telescope. I have power and oxygen running to it. So the only thing lacking for us to run this telescope is having a duplicate that has the skills. And I don't want to I don't need to have one on that colony permanently. So what I'm going to do is send Demon Lord on a little visit, because he has the skills I need, and he's going to go over there and take care of doing our scanning for us. So he's going to be on a little bit of a visitation over to the Gorgani colony for a few days. So he should go up and do it immediately because it should be his high priority task. It looks like he is. And so the reason that I'm setting this up is because I wanted to have farther out mapped, and we ran out of space where we could map using the telescope here, so now we're going to try to map out a little farther. I think that this asteroid will make it go out a little bit farther than we did on our main one, so we can actually see what some of these unknown objects are to have some more things to explore into space. I want to start working on getting rockets set up to go and collect the artifact from this planetary excursion module, and also a drill one to start drilling here. I don't particularly need any of the elements from there at the moment, but I just want to learn how to set those rockets up. So we set up a second rocket pad up here at the top, and I was going to just experiment with some of the different types of rockets that we have, try to learn how they work, get the different setups that we need to do. So that's what I'm going to work on today, and I'll come back once I have another rocket ready to go. I don't think I'm actually going to build a second rocket. I'm just using this so I can look at the different things and learn how they are. I'm just going to make changes to our main rocket, and we're going to stick with the steam rocket for the moment. Eventually here we will get set up to do to do something other than the steam engine, so that we can do longer rocket trips and stuff like that. But for now, we're just going to use this setup. So I'm going to get some things changed around with this rocket, and we'll get another one set up ready to go out and explore and have the star map finished, and then I will come back to you. Gotten the star map mapped out a little bit farther from the closed telescope on Gorgani. You can see it kind of is like a circle around each asteroid. So we were able to get out a little bit farther. We've discovered an interstellar ocean and a organic mass field out here. So those are more things for us to explore. Demon Lord got sent back home to his main colony. I didn't want to leave him over here at Gorgani for too long because his skill levels would cause a real morale problem for him. So he is back in his home, safe, sound. So our next step's actually we're gonna have to send rockets out to explore the star map a little more. I think that's as far as we can see from our asteroids, but I want to see what these other unknown objects are. So we're going to continue working on building up this rocket. I also need to get set up to do some research so that we can do some of the other rocketry stuff to do farther exploration, I believe. I'm trying to find where rocketry is in the list. I haven't looked at it yet. So, I guess it's just all throughout it. Okay, that makes sense. So, there's different engines we can research. There's different nose cones we can research. This one specifically, the drill cone, is how we harvest items from the objects we found. Then we have to, other upgrades we can do to our rockets. So I'm going to get set up to do the research for that. In order to do it, we have the ability to do the material science research, but we have to rebuild that facility because I moved it. And we also need to get set up to do data analysis research so that we can get the orange research that we need here to do the rest of the research in the tree. So that's what we're going to focus on. We'll get both of those research centers set up. We're probably going to make like an entire facility for research now that we have. We're going to be doing the last of it. And we'll go from there. So let me get that set up, and then I will be back after a little bit. Still working on getting rockets set up and the research center set up, but I ran into a little bit of a problem with our petroleum boiler that was causing it to break. One was that some water had gotten into here, polluted water, I think, but turned into steam, and the steam was built up here, so it was causing some issues, which was keeping this from boiling correctly. So I came in and removed the drain and then built a tile there so that would just deleted the steam. We'll break that and then put the drain back in. The other issue is that because of that, it caused some heat to transfer where we didn't want it to, and it got into this oil and heated it up to the point where it was petroleum, or it may have just been that it heated up over the course of time. I'm not sure, but it caused this robo liner to overheat, and I had to come in here, create a little bit of a liquid lock so we could vacuum everything out in here, and then not sure what. I guess oxygen got in through the bottom. Okay, so before I put this through, I'm gonna have to do something to get this opened up so that I can get that oxygen out of there. Because we can't have any gas in here. I'll have this mini gas pump pull all the oxygen out, which will take a little while, but that's fine. Right now we're running off reserve powers like natural gas and hydrogen and coal, but everything's fine. We have plenty of that built up for the time being. Natural gas is what's really going to keep us going. But we want to get this fixed as quick as possible so we can get our petroleum going back again. But I definitely need to get this gas out of here because the gas will cause heat transfer that we can't have. That's why this is heating up so quickly. In fact, I'm hoping it doesn't cause that crude oil to shift before I get done pulling the oxygen out. But I'm going to finish doing that. I'll get this sealed back up, get our petroleum running. I'm also going to put in a filter down here to filter out anything other than oil to make sure that the fluids going in here is definitely just oil. So if any polluted water or water gets into our pumps, then we are fine. So I'll get that done, and then I'll come back once we have some more done. What I did is I came down in here and I installed a new automation wire temporarily to force this door open. But this gas that was in here is 300 degrees, so it was heating this up, which is heating this crude oil up. I think it's stabilizing though, so I'm okay if that crude oil goes to 200. If it goes up to the point where it turns into petroleum, that's another issue because we don't want to risk having any heat going to the petroleum too much and then have it turn into sour gas, because that would be a real pain in our butt to fix. So I also pulled out that mini gas pump and put in a regular gas pump so I can pump all the gas out of here a lot quicker. Seems to be working. I think that this is going to stabilize around 200 degrees, which is fine. Get all that pulled out of there, seal this back up. While that's working, I'm going to come down here and work on this filter. So I thought I would show you how I'm going to do that while we're working on it. So all I'm going to do is put in a liquid pipe element sensor and a liquid shutoff like this. And then what we're going to do is turn this whole thing into a bit of a loop. So let's put it like that. And then we'll do it like that. So basically this will loop this way. Let me look at the other loop I have, see how I want to do this. I always get the little bit of the confusion on it. So to make it a loop, I want to have the green connected to the green. Okay, so yeah, I have that a little bit off. So what I actually want to do is, let's cancel this. I want to do a bridge like this, and then we will do this. So what that'll do is make it so that oil comes in through here, and then it creates a loop. And then anytime it's oil in the loop, it'll allow it through this pump or this shutoff to let it go in. Then what I need to do is put another gas element, liquid pipe element center. Element sensor. So take that off, and that. And this one is going to go into a NOT gate. Let's put it like. Actually, let's put this in first, so I know how it goes. This I want to get off first. So basically, all we're going to do is we're going to have another element sensor that's the opposite. So it's just going to have a NOT gate. So it's going to say if it's not oil, then drop it through this liquid shutoff, and then we'll route that out to a drain and drop it off somewhere. Probably just right down here. Just drop it through for now. And so basically, if any water gets into the system, it just vents out over here. So then all we need to do is get power to this. So we have power right here. And we need to put in automation wires. This one connects to this one. This one connects to... No, that one actually is not going to connect to that. It's going to connect to the NOT gate. Which can just go right like that. And so this one, we will say if you are crude oil, and this one will also be crude oil, but it'll say if it's not crude oil. So basically, crude oil comes through. If it's crude oil, it can continue on into the system. If it's not crude oil, it'll drop out. And the only reason I'm making it a loop, since that'll obviously catch anything that comes through, is that if we were to lose power and these liquid shutoffs shut off, I don't want to have anything passing through. And if this stops moving, then when it repowers up, you'll have some liquid go through regardless of what the sensor says. So we'll just have this loop so that it keeps moving. And hopefully that'll all work the way I plan to. And that'll keep anything from getting in here causing problems for our liquid boiler. So let's put this here. Did I make that? No. Steel. Okay, good. All right, so this is still pulling the oxygen out. It's almost there. $190 milligrams to go. Once that's all pulled out, I can just seal this back up, and then we'll be ready to turn it all back on. I have to reconnect some automation wires. Then when I do, I'll have to disconnect this wire so that this will work again, and I have to reconnect the door up here so that it'll reopen. Because for right now, it's set that no matter what the automation says, that door stays closed. That way I didn't have any magma coming in on me while I was working on it. So we'll just get this last bit of oxygen out of here, and then we'll turn it back on, and I'll come back once I have my research done. Or rather, the research building is built. Just sealing up the last of our insulated tiles here to keep all the heat contained. We reconnected our oil flow. Filter's working great. So now we have oil coming in, petroleum coming out again. And we should have no problems going forward with it, but we'll keep an eye on it, see how it goes. We do have a bit of a backup of oil in our system from that, so we need to keep an eye on that as well, but it looks like it's flowing through fine now. It'll get caught up. It's just that this chamber here got filled up with oil, so we can't have any of these slicksters being um, killed off in this chamber. So that is why I had a second one built in the first place. So when this one overflows, we still have it working. So everything's working fine there. This will get caught back up. Everything will keep on functioning, and we'll get caught back up with our petroleum supplies, hopefully, and get this all working again. I do think that we're making a lot more oil than what this boiler can handle, because this can only handle 10 kilograms per second going in, and I'm making a lot more oil than that. So what I started working on while I was waiting on that is that this is actually overheating down here. Oh, I made them out of copper. Um, I'm going to shift over this oil here into a tank that's a little farther over, and make it so I have space here so that I can start working on a project going down into the magma core, so I can create a heat spike, so I can create another boiler down here. I'm going to work on that between episodes, but that way we can have more of this oil being processed into petroleum. I don't really need the extra petroleum, but we have this much oil, might as well do something with it. So that's going to be another project. It'll be very similar to this one, except that instead of using a magma tank like this, it'll just have a spike of diamond glass that goes down into the magma and draws heat out up to the top so that we can use it to boil off oil. And we'll be able to produce even more petroleum. So that'll be interesting once we get it done. It's going to take a while because I have to create a nice space where I can get into it. I did notice after I finished working on the boiler up here that we're running pretty low on time for this episode. So I'm going to wait to do the research stuff for our space exploration in the next episode and call it a day here. I hope you enjoyed watching it. And if you did, subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment. All those things are very helpful. But I hope to see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.